All right, so y'all know that I barely be in the news sometimes, but I wanted to see what's up with this Zenless Zone Zero. It had just broke the Hoyo cycle. What is he talking about? Let's see. Let's see what Glau has to say today.
Story playing out in the Zenless Zone Zero community over the last few weeks. It is one we have all seen before. A new Hoyoverse game launches, there is a honeymoon phase, players begin to declare it is the best one yet, and then, right on schedule, the veterans, the players from Genshin, from Star Rail, show up in the replies to warn everyone that the cycle is about to repeat. That is the script. We all know how it goes.
Yup, he's not lying. This is literally how it goes. New Hoyoverse drops a new game. This best time to play the game, by the way. That's the best time. Hoyoverse drops the game. It does it, like, they are generous as hell. They give out a lot of stuff. Same thing happened with Honkai. Like everything goes on, boom, boom, boom. And then after the game gets to that point where it makes a good amount of money for them, the next thing you know, they switch it up. And then guess what? Now everything's predatory. And it's like, yeah, we got you again. Keep playing the game.
Except this time, the script changed. Just as this debate reached its peak, the developers at Zenless Zone Zero released a dev talk.
What? This is what I'm saying. I don't think they make enough for Hoyo to care what they do. I'm gonna be honest. Me personally, that's what I think. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm gonna move over here so that way, like, I don't block that. By the way, let me see. We asked the designers about the topics that they care. The devs have given us candidate response, blah, 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 blah. Here's just talk about it.
And in it, they seem to have agreed to fix, well, everything the community was actually complaining about.
I mean, you can kind of tell they was going to do something like this anyway, because they agreed to fix the TV system, which means reworking the whole game.
From the end game grind, to the story, to the breaking of old characters. So the question is no longer, is this the cycle? The new question is, did the cycle just break? We are going to look at exactly what happened, what was said, and what it all means. If you appreciate this kind of breakdown, a like on the video and a subscription to the channel are always...
Didn't they? Bro, I swear they stated that they were going to... why's my light balance so... But like I swear, like, they did state something about, hey, look, by the way, guys, we're going co-op like a couple of patches ago. I wonder if they're still doing that or not.
A good way to show it. So where did this all start? It began, as so often does, with a single post that was, let's say, very optimistic. The core claim was simple: Zenless Zone Zero is the best Hoyo game, and the person who posted it laid out their evidence. They said the developers were buffing older characters like it's Christmas, a very festive, generous image. They claim the endgame doesn't require the newest characters, which is...
I don't know about that. But I also don't build my characters that much.
As we know, a major point of conflict in these communities. And of course, the big number, 100 polls per patch. They even took it...
Excuse me? Do they do that? They really do that? I don't believe that for a second.
Direct shot at Honkai Star Rail, claiming HSR never treated its players this well, not even in its own honeymoon phase. Now, this post was more than just I'm having fun. It was a declaration. It was almost evangelical. You are preaching what you believe is new, good message. And for this person, the good message was that Zenless Zone Zero was different. It was a belief that the developer philosophy here was fundamentally better, more free-to-play friendly, and just kinder all around than anything that had come before. It was a very strong, very pure-hearted belief, and as you would expect, it is precisely what kicked the hornet's nest. Now, what is interesting is who pushed back first. It wasn't the expected haters or the rival communities. The first most significant cracks came from the inside of the Zenless Zone Zero community. The replies were measured. People calmly pointed out that the original tweet was, quote, a little overshill or exaggerating. It is a polite way of saying you're trying too hard to sell this, and it's not entirely accurate. These players immediately took issue with the claim that endgame doesn't require the newest character.
Yeah, because that's cap. I was about to say, like, I play endgame, and maybe I just didn't upgrade my character stuff, but that stuff, you need the newest players.
They said, well, that's not really true. They brought up the specific endgame modes, Deadly Assaults, and Miasma bosses. They explained that in that content, you absolutely do need very specific agent roles. The main example was needing a character like Manato, specifically for Rupture. Rupture is just one of the damage types in the game, but the problem is, the new bosses are designed to only be beaten efficiently with that one mechanic. So your team that you carefully built without it, it doesn't matter. It hits a wall. And this is where where we see the pivot. When the original poster was faced with this specific evidence-based critique, they didn't double down, they just shifted the arguments. The new claim became, well, I'd expect people to have at least one S rank every 2 patches, since Zenless Zone Zero gives
They don't give a lot of pulls.
a lot of polls. And well, the argument completely changed. It is no longer you need these characters. It is now, it is okay that you need these characters because the game is generous enough to give them to you. And that is the real conflict right there. It is the gap between the perception of generosity, getting 100 free polls, and the reality of the end game. The reality is that your viability, your ability to actually clear the end game content, the hard content, is still chained to pulling the very specific new units. This is where that free-to-play friendly argument starts to look very thin. And once that argument started to thin, that is when the veterans arrived. These weren't just Zenless Zone Zero players, these were the long-time Hoyoverse players, the one who have been through Genshin, who have been through Star Rail, and their reaction was, well, it was predictable. It was almost a single unified.
Hey, when people say they want to play a Hoyo game, I tell them straight up, I'd be like, look, you can, but you gotta remember, the best time to play is the first couple of months to about a year. That's the best time. After that, they switch it up. The next thing you know, it's like Genshin. You need a new characters for in-game. They barely giving out free pulls or anything, and they force you to spend money more and more.
Voice echoing across the quote tweets. The cycle repeats. And they immediately pointed to Honkai Star Rail's launch. They remembered all the HSR is so much better posts, the all of the Genshin could never slogans. And now in their eyes, HSR is seen just as bad, if not worse.
It's worse. I don't know how that became a thing, but it got worse somehow. Like, what is this, bro? Like what? And the thing is this, right? You may be like, oh well, it's whatever, right? This was a couple of months before they did another spin event, and then that spin event was like about 1 or 2 months, I think, before they did this spin event for a character that they want you to spin for anyway. So you're spinning the spin to get a thing that you need to spin for a costume design. Like what? Like, I'm sorry. It's
worse. This even created a strange split.
By the way, I just want to say, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to share the video. And I do have a merch store down in the description below, a donation link of members. Like, check it out. It helps out a lot. You know, like the video, that helps out a lot too. That part is free. But if not, if you want to just help me out and also help out the channel so I can get better camera quality for you guys and get better lighting for you guys, bro, buy something or just donate. It ain't that hard.
It's where you had these surprise converts, players who came in hating Hoyoverse, calling Zenless Zone Zero a gooner game, who then admitted it is the game I played.
It is a gooner game. You think we care? Go talk to DK or something. Like, you think we care? You think they care?
The most, and banger after banger. But these new fans were clashing directly with the jaded veterans. And so, when they see this exact same praise for Zenless Zone Zero, they don't see optimism, they see a honeymoon phase. They see a script they've already read. This wasn't about one game, it was about a pattern. There was one person who posted that quote, "Fool me once," ending with "Fool me 3 times, you're a jerk and I'm stupid." And that really captures the sentiment. It is a fundamental distrust in the long-term monetization, how the game makes money. And the developer cycle theory was spelled out very clearly by some creators. They defined it as a specific loop. The game ramps up difficulty slowly in between big onboarding moments like patches 1.4, 2.0, and 2.5. And the goal, in their view, is to get players that already spent to spend more by applying just enough pressure. These players feel trauma-informed. They have been conditioned. They expected the good times to end, and they expect the company to be the reason. This is why they jumped on that buffing older characters claim. This new optimistic player sees buffs and thinks, wow, they're so generous. But the veteran player asks, why do they need to buff older characters like it's Christmas if the game is so balanced? They saw a hypocrisy, a contradiction. You can't claim endgame doesn't require new characters and in the same breath celebrate massive buffs for old units. The veterans see those buffs not as generosity, but as a symptom, a sign that power creep, where new characters just get stronger and stronger, making old ones useless. It is already happening so fast that the developers are forced to step in and clean it up. But the sharpest point came from a dolphin. A dolphin is just someone who spends a little money. Not a whale though, who spends thousands, just a regular paying customer. This dolphin described their experience where their scores started steadily moving backwards. Even while they were spending, they were having to sweat just a little to pass 20k. And this person laid it out perfectly. They said, the reason I quit Star Rail was because my teams couldn't cut it anymore because I didn't pick up a few specific shield.
Bro, it's insane how it works, bro. It's like, oh, you want to use cashers? You need these 3 characters from, oh yeah, what is it called again? Oh yeah, the new content that just came out that you probably missed because you were saving up for cashers. Oh, you want to use this team? Oh yeah, all these characters that's in the recent like 2 patches, like literally 1 patch 1 and patch 2. You know, the characters came out part 1, part 2, part 1, part 2. Yeah, you need all 4 of them. So spin up, Bucko. And then it's like, oh, you want to clear something? Dang, too bad. You should have bought the last 4 characters from the last 2 patches, huh? Now you ain't hitting the max pulls you can get. You ain't hitting that 800 that you can get from there. You're doing at most maybe floor 11, maybe floor 10, and that's where in floor 11 you start to struggle. Floor 12 you're not beating it in time because you don't have them characters. Like, oh, she ain't doing enough damage. Oh, should have got her E2. Oh, should have got her E5. Would have known. And it's like, bro, like that's why I stopped playing. I'll be honest, because like I it makes no sense. Why do I need to buy? Why do I need to spend $300 for like 4 characters a patch just to be able to try to clear something? Because everything is locked behind E2 or everything is locked behind E6 or you gotta just keep going, get this character at E2 and then just try your best to try to get that character at E2 and grind your butt off. Like bro, it makes no sense. Well, like characters should be able to clear end game the way that they've been clearing end game the whole time. Okay, this be like it makes no sense to me. I'll be honest, it makes no sense.
Characters. They're talking about their investment.
Like why do I gotta be forced to spend because you want to make the game harder because you want people to spend? Like, bro, like add a separate feature or something like a will Abyss and then regular Abyss, and then we'd be good.
Investment, their time and their money being invalidated, being made worthless by the new updates. And then the final line, they said they saw Zenless Zone Zero heading in the same exact direction. And that is the core of the trauma. It goes beyond vague anger. It is a specific financial and emotional complaint that the cycle is all about disrespecting the player's investments. And it is a very hard argument to ignore. But what is really fascinating is that this entire very loud
it is, because you gotta think about this, right? Like the dude was like, oh, they give 100 per patch. Oh my gosh. Let's think about this. 100 per patch. Every summon, every guaranteed character is 160. But let's say it's 80 for every 5-star, right? So that means you got 20 left. 20 left in that patch, right? Let's say this is a character you need to get so you can do something, right? Like top tier character type stuff. Okay. You get $100. I mean, you get 100 from the last patch. By the way, 100 not even the amount that they. But anyway, you get 100 from the last patch. Okay, boom. All right. You spend and you miss your 50-50. Guess what? You're going to grind that patch all the way up until 100 again. You get 120 and you get the guarantee because you lost your 50-50. And now guess what? What if they need a W engine? You out. You already out. Unless you somehow get lucky and get it within like 10, 20, or 30 pulls, you already done. It's GG's. Now you gotta wait for them to come back again and get that. It's dumb. They don't. It's not generous. Like I don't know why people think it's generous because they give 3-digit things. It's not generous. It would be generous if they gave almost 160, like 130 a patch. Now that'd be generous because they accounting, okay, 50-50 is a thing in our game. Let's help out free to play so that way if they do lose the 50-50 and they may miss it, but like they may just have to spend the extra $20, right? That's would be generous, right? But no, it's not generous just because 100, given that one thing is 160 and the other one is like 80, which I think you can lose that too. So technically you're spending like close to 400 pulls a patch if you want to really get a character where they're supposed to be at. Like that's dumb. Like that's not generous at all. They're giving 1/4 of what they probably should get. Like a system like that, me personally, I think like you could say it's greedy or whatever. I think it should be 200 bare minimum. Give out 200 pulls. Have the people decide on what they want to pull on. Like that. 200 pulls a patch. That'd be insane, actually. But but no, because they won't make money that way. So it's a reason why they do it.
Debates about monetization, about the cycle, about free-to-play was running parallel to a third completely separate conflict. This group wasn't talking about polls, they weren't talking about endgame content, they were talking about the game's soul. This was specifically painful for them because so many players genuinely loved the cast. You would see comments like, the cast of characters are just so damn likable, or I don't actually hate any Zenless Zone Zero characters. Even the NPCs got this praise. The Zenless Zone Zero agents, NPCs, and Bangboos even, they are just so freaking great. The best NPCs I have seen. It was because they liked the soul so much that they felt it is lost. They felt the game's core identity was evaporating. The first
one thing I don't get is why Hoyo does this though. I don't understand that because it's like let's be honest, right? When it comes to like, oh, let's make in-game harder so that way they spend. To be honest, they make a good enough game because like if you make a good game, people will spend money. Like they made like ZZ for instance is such a good enough game that it makes money on its own. Like they don't need to push in game and then make people sweat, but like for pulls to go pull to try to be in game because like it's already a good story, right? Like Genshin, okay, but like the other one is like ZZ is already a good game in itself. So why? What's the point?
Most common complaint was about the vibe. People miss.
That's how I feel. I feel like if a game is good enough, it will make money. Like people will spend for a character if the character story is good enough. They don't need to spend for it because this is the next OP mega insane blah, 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 character.
The urban fantasy feel of the early game, the style of 6th Street, this new mystic aesthetic on Yunkoy summits, they just find it boring, generic, and this extended beyond the scenery, right into the narrative, the story. The criticism was that the plot has become directionless and repetitive, where the early chapters felt like they had tension. The new villain, Sarah, was described as hollow, a Looney Tune villain with no real stakes. It just wasn't compelling. The narrative critiques got very specific. People pointed to the proxy's changed role, how the MC in the Hollows in place of 01 didn't feel justified, and the repetitive story trope of a character's parents went bye-bye. They even pointed to specific dropped plot threads, like Fairy being powerful AI, or Soldier 11 completely removed from relevancy, as proof the story was losing its way. Running alongside this was another specific complaint, the lack of resinless behavior. Resin is just the Genshin term for stamina, right? So resinless behavior simply means stuff to do when you're out of stamina, fun side activities. People were asking for more arcade games, more casual content, more reasons to just be in the world, to goon around, I guess. They miss the old, unique in-game systems, like the comic-style panels for storytelling, the knock-knock scroll.
You know, that is, I didn't really notice that when going through it. I skipped some of it, to be honest. But like they really did stop doing the comics, didn't they? That kind of sad. It's like those was peak. Like that's peak design, bro.
Pulling on the phone, the old TV mode even.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. No. To be honest, not a lot of people like the TVs. I think it was good. I think the TV was overused. It was, I mean, my opinion, it was a good little thing that, oh my gosh, this is kind of rare, but like it did get annoying when grinding.
And even the early rally side missions. Instead, it felt like all of the new updates were only adding more grind. This was all compounded by the content volume argument. Players started comparing.
And I don't even feel like that's ZZ. That's all Hoyo game. Like, bro, you see Genshin, how many grinds you got to do in Genshin now? Look at Honkai. Like, they got like 8, like that many grinds you got to do now. And it's like, technically, the new grind in game would be good. Technically, in quotations, is good, right? Because there's more gems you can get for pulling, right? But the thing is, the only way to get those gems is to spin. So you're grinding the spins to try to spin to get the end-game grind so you can grind the spins. And that's why they just make you spend money. Well, like that's what like the newest I think the newest Honkai thing, like that thing is like insanely difficult if you don't have like exactly the right teams, and it's like, oh, but like that gives you the currency to get the like characters, like they have it easier for you to get the characters each patch, but at the same time that won't help you because you can't fully complete it if you don't have the characters from the new patch already. And so in order to get the characters from the new patch, if you couldn't grind the thing for the characters to get the characters in the new patch. You gotta sit there and then spend money to get the new characters, so you can grind this thing so you can get future new characters. But then by the time those characters come out that you want, they're going to be already useless, the ones that you have, which means you got to spend more money to try to keep up with the grind. And it's like, bro,
comparing update sizes directly, pointing
like,
out that
enough
Genshin
money,
update can take 12 to 15 hours to fully go through, while
and that's why I stopped.
a Zenless Zone Zero update felt like it was finished less than 5 hours. And when you put all of those pieces together, the lost vibe, the drifting story, the lack of fun, casual things.
I'll be honest, they start yapping. Like I will never understand this like story aspect where the story must be 8 hours long. I don't get it. Like, bro, no, it does not. This is not like 2 hours max is good enough for a story. You can put everything in there. You can get like 3, maybe 3 or 4, right? Put everything in there, everything be done. It feels good enough in a wrapped up thing, and you could. But like this 8 hour stuff is insane. Like, why is the story 8 hours long? Why is this story 12 hours long? Why do I have to do all these extra side quests? Because to get through the main story. Like, bro, just give me the story. Like, cut out all the fluff, give me the story, and I'm done.
To do, and the lower content volume, this entire group arrived at the same conclusion. The game was losing its soul. It was abandoning everything that made it unique to become just another generic gacha slop clone. And for these players, that was a much bigger, more fundamental problem than any shill buff. So the community was essentially split. You had the free-to-play friendly debates, the honeymoon cycle trauma, and this loss of soul identity crisis. It paints a pretty bleak picture, and it happened very, very fast. But then, the Batman of Zenless Zone Zero came along, and Dev Talk dropped. And the remarkable thing, the really remarkable thing, is that it wasn't just corporate PR. They didn't just post a "we're listening" image, they didn't put out a survey and completely ignore it afterwards. They specifically addressed.
Okay, I love the surveys. How they'd be like, please complete the survey so we can like do an experience. Oh, we were listening. And then like people will put stuff in the survey. And like that stuff from like 12 surveys ago in Genshin has still never been addressed.
Every single one of those 3 conflict threads, points by point. So let's start with the end game. That whole mid-Yabi is getting bricked complaint, when a developer intentionally designs a boss to make an old character useless. The response? A new mode called Threshold Simulation. And I'm quoting, designed to let the more veteran characters shine. That is not subtle, that is a direct fix for a very specific problem. The general power creep concern, the idea that your old standard units are being left behind. They announced specific power-ups for standard characters coming in 2.5. Again, a direct answer. And then the big one, the gacha slop grind, the endless tedious farming for discs. They're adding disk drive substat selection. I have to pause on this one because you have to understand, for a Hoyoverse title.
Hold on. No, we can't do it. No. They got to do it right? Like, they're not going to do what they did last time where they say this and then it's like, oh, but you need the special currency that we really give out. Like, bro, please tell me that it's actually good and you can actually just select it with a currency that you get like regularly or semi-regularly like most games do. Please, bro. I can't do it.
This is pretty unprecedented. It has never happened before. This is a level of—
Oh, yes, it has. Don't now he capping with that one. Genshin did it weirdly. Oh my god, select the stats you want on your gear or whatever, right? And then come to find out that you get like 1 a patch or every 2 patches or some dumb stuff like that. But you need like 3 or 2. Oh, but the way to get the other ones is in the battle pass. Honkai did the same thing. Theirs is a little more generous, but it's about the same thing. They barely give those out. You can buy them, but they barely give those out, and like it's here and there type stuff. And then when it comes, I mean, hopefully theirs is way more generous where it's just like, look, we'll give you a couple a month and you just got to choose it wisely.
Quality of life, a concession to the player's time that Genshin players have been begging for years. This is not a small thing. This is a massive olive branch. They didn't just stop there though. They announced other specific quality of life features like one-click AFK feature for the daily grind, an ether battery quick swap, and
what does that mean? One-click AFK though? What does that mean?
Even in combat damage compilation, so you can actually see your numbers. But they didn't just stop at gacha mechanics. They went for the identity crisis too. That directionless, boring plot. The response, version 2.4 will be the turning point in the story. That is a developer admitting the story has been stalling and promising to fix.
Fire. this man already. Honestly, no, I'm not. I'll be honest. Wasn't that the one that got on to Hoyo? I mean, got on to Honkai. Next thing you know, after he got on, the stories became 8 hours long. Like, bro, Honkai Star Rail stories was not 8 hours long always. They used to be four. They used to be like revving waves, like 4, 3, maybe 5. Sometimes they reached 6 if it was like a point patch and it was like ending type stuff. Like it'd be 6. And the next thing you know, now 8, 9, 12. I'm like, bro, what like what is it? And then most of the time they just sit in there and talk about some dumb stuff that you don't even really care about. It's like, what's the point? This isn't part of anything good. This isn't part of any lore. Why are we sitting here? Like, what is this like what is this filler? Like, what is this, Naruto? Like,
that feeling of losing the urban vibe, that lack of Zenless behavior, of just fun stuff to do. They announced new shops and multiplayer gameplay is back and better than ever. And that complaint about losing old characters, that I miss Fairy the AI sentiment, they really said, worry not, old friends, they will continue to appear. And you look at this whole list, this wasn't just a dev talk, it was a direct response. It was on point. It was a
like, I love how Fairy and Wise talk to each other. Or like, I guess probably Fairy and Bill if you pick a Wise. I'm not sure. But like Fairy and Wise, I love how they talk to each other. Like how she's just like, yeah, I'm better than you, so shut your mouth. And he like, bro, Fairy, what is wrong with you? But I'm just trying to live here. And he's like, yeah, but like, I'm trying to be number 2 and you're in my spot. No, I'm like, oh, okay.
Point-by-point validation of almost every single major complaint the community had. They didn't just respond to the noise, they proved they were listening to the signal. So what is the real takeaway here, right? It is that the Zenless Zone Zero community, through all of this raw, emotional, and let's be honest, messy discourse, managed to create an unignorable signal. This wasn't drama for the sake of drama, it wasn't noise, it was a critical feedback loop in real time. The community saw a problem, they diagnosed it, and they made sure the developers heard them. And that is what's so fascinating, because the developers listened. That dev talk was, as we just went over, a direct, comprehensive response. It suggests that Zenless Zone Zero might be operating under a different feedback paradigm, like a different model, a different pattern. It feels like the pattern is completely different from HSR and Genshin. And do you know why it's different? Because the community is different. This trauma-informed player base, the veterans from Genshin and Star Rail, they are the ones
we've been fooled once and we've been fooled twice. You can't fool us no more.
Who were screaming the cycle repeats. They came in knowing exactly what to look for, and because they identified the gacha formula so quickly and so loudly, they may have actually succeeded in pushing for a change much earlier in the game's life cycle. They didn't wait for a year or 2 or 3, they forced the issue now. So congratulations, Zenless Zone Zero players, for being critical, for being honest, for being opinionated. This should set a precedent for other Hoyo games. Look at what happens when you don't defend from criticisms. But of course, brings us to the final lingering question. While the devs responded, we don't know the intents, right? Is this a genuine course correction, a real fundamental change in their philosophy?
Because they could just be like, oh yeah, and then just go right back to it. Like I said, we had this before where they like, you can pick your sides, and then next thing you know, whole time is actually more money hungry and predatory than you ever seen. It all depends.
Or is this just a more sophisticated tactic within the cycle? A way to calm everyone down, the immediate problems, and just get smarter about the honeymoon phase next time. The community for now is in a wait and see mode. They're watching to see if the actions consistently follow the words. So I'm curious on what you all make of this. That developer response was pretty direct. Do you think this signals a genuine new direction for Zenless Zone Zero, or are you still holding?
Thanks for Glad for another fire video. But to be honest, I don't know. We really just gotta wait and see. This is the first time they're doing it in ZZZ. Me personally, I've always seen that ZZ does a lot more. I guess you could say risky stuff when it comes to like Hoyo in general. Like they do a lot more over the top type things, and it's like me personally, I feel like Hoyo just doesn't care because they just doesn't make that much money, so they don't really try to micromanage them over there. And they're like, okay, do what you want, okay, whatever. Like you're not making Genshin levels, okay? We don't care, okay? Like you're not making Honkai levels, okay? We don't care, okay? Even though they kind of are, but just more like you're the third game. We let you do what you want. Like it's kind of like the last shower. Right? It was like do whatever you want. We don't care. We're more focused on 1 and 2. So yeah, but anyway, other than that, thanks for Glau for another fire video. I ain't gonna lie, that was insane. as a Hoyo shell. I was playing. You think Hoyo? That'd be insane. I know you're gonna have to pay me first. Anyway, other than that, to be honest, I still play ZZ. I gotta get back into it actually because I need to save up for another character that's coming out soon. But anyway, other than that, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you do. Don't forget to share the video. And I love all you guys. I see y'all guys in the next video and peace out. Buy the merch.